Imagine this for a moment. You're standing at the edge of the ocean, watching the waves crash against the shore. You feel the power of nature, the rhythm of the earth. And yet, there's a part of you that's holding back. You're not fully present, not fully immersed. Why? Because your mind is clinging to something, an idea, a belief, a memory, or even an expectation. It's like holding on to a rock while trying to swim. No matter how strong you are, that weight keeps pulling you down. Now, what if you simply let go of that rock? Letting go is one of the most misunderstood yet powerful tools we have for transforming our lives. It's the key to freeing ourselves from mental clutter, emotional baggage, and energetic blocks that keep us from vibrating at our highest frequency. And when you let go, it's like dropping that rock into the ocean. You suddenly feel lighter, more buoyant, and free to move with the flow of life. But what does it really mean to let go? Is it about giving up? Is it about surrendering to the point where you no longer care about anything? Absolutely not. Letting go is not about apathy or resignation. It's about releasing the attachments and expectations that are holding you back. It's about freeing your mind from the constant need to control, to predict, to know. When you let go, you stop fighting against the current of life. Instead, you learn to trust it. You begin to flow with it. Let's dive deeper. Think about the things you cling to daily. It could be a past mistake, a relationship, a job that no longer serves you, or even an idea of who you think you should be. These attachments create mental noise. Your mind constantly replays scenarios, formulates plans, and creates what-if situations that never seem to resolve. And the more you hold on to these things, the more tangled your mind becomes. It's like trying to run a marathon while carrying a heavy backpack filled with bricks of fear, anxiety, guilt, and doubt. So ask yourself, what are you holding on to right now? Is it serving you, or is it weighing you down? This is a question that, when answered honestly, can change everything. You see, the act of letting go starts with awareness. You have to recognize what it is you're clinging to before you can release it. Once you've identified what you're holding on to, the next step is to ask yourself, why? Why do we cling to things that no longer serve us? The answer often lies in fear. The fear of the unknown, the fear of change, the fear of being without that thing we've attached ourselves to. But here's the paradox. The very thing we're afraid of losing is often what's keeping us stuck. We create stories around these attachments, believing that without them we'll be lost, incomplete, or unworthy. But these stories, as compelling as they may seem, are just that, stories. Letting go is about rewriting those stories. It's about realizing that your worth, your value, and your happiness are not dependent on external circumstances or possessions. They come from within. When you let go, you make space for new possibilities. You open yourself to the flow of life, to the magic of the present moment. And in that space, your vibration naturally rises. You become more aligned with your true self, with the energy of love, peace, and joy. But here's the thing. Letting go is not a one-time event. It's a practice. It's something we do every day, in every moment. Because life is constantly changing. We're constantly being presented with new experiences, new challenges, and new opportunities. And with each new situation, we have a choice. Do we cling to our old ways of thinking, or do we let go and allow ourselves to evolve? One of the most powerful ways to practice letting go is through mindfulness. When you're mindful, you're fully present in the moment. You're not caught up in the past, nor are you worrying about the future. Instead, you're simply observing what is, without judgment, without attachment. This doesn't mean you don't care about what's happening in your life. It means you've learned to trust the process. You've learned to trust that everything is unfolding exactly as it should, even if it doesn't make sense in the moment. Think of mindfulness like cleaning out a cluttered room. When your mind is cluttered with thoughts, worries, and attachments, it's hard to find space for anything new. But when you clean out the clutter, when you let go of what no longer serves you, you create space for clarity, for insight, and for growth. You create space for your vibration to rise. Now you might be wondering, how does letting go boost your vibration? It's simple. Everything in the universe, including you, is made up of energy. And this energy vibrates at different frequencies. When you're weighed down by attachments, by fear, by negative emotions, your energy vibrates at a lower frequency. But when you let go of these things, your energy becomes lighter, more expansive. You begin to vibrate at a higher frequency, aligning yourself with the energy of love, joy, and peace. And here's the beautiful thing. When you raise your vibration, you naturally attract experiences, people, and opportunities that are in alignment with that higher frequency. It's like tuning into a different radio station. When you're vibrating at a higher frequency, you attract higher frequency experiences into your life. This is why letting go is not just about clearing your mind. It's about transforming your entire reality. So how do you begin this process of letting go? Start small. Start by letting go of something simple, like a minor annoyance or a task you've been procrastinating on. Notice how it feels when you release that burden. Then gradually work your way up to the bigger things, the deeper fears, the limiting beliefs, the attachments that have been holding you back for years. And as you do this, be gentle with yourself. Letting go is not about forcing or pushing, it's about allowing. It's about trusting that when you release what no longer serves you, you're making space for something even better to come into your life. Now let's pause for a moment. Take a deep breath. Reflect on what we've discussed so far. Can you feel the weight of the things you're holding on to? Can you sense how they're affecting your mind, your energy, your vibration? What would it feel like to let them go, to release them once and for all? This is the key to clearing your mind and boosting your vibration. It's not about doing more, achieving more, or controlling more. It's about letting go. It's about trusting that you are enough just as you are, and that life has a way of unfolding perfectly when you allow it. To the power of surrender, how letting go transforms your energy. When you let go, something extraordinary happens. You create space. Space for new ideas, new energy, and new opportunities to flow into your life. But more than that, you create space for yourself. You give yourself the freedom to be, rather than constantly striving to do. And in that space of being, you reconnect with your true essence. You reconnect with the part of you that is beyond the mind, beyond the ego, beyond the stories you've been telling yourself. But here's the catch. Letting go requires trust. It requires faith. It requires believing that even if you release control, things will be okay. And this is where many of us struggle. We've been conditioned to believe that we need to control every aspect of our lives in order to be safe, successful, or happy. We think that if we let go, we'll lose everything. But the truth is, the more we try to control, the more we suffer. Surrendering is not about giving up. It's about giving in to the flow of life, to the natural rhythm of the universe. When you surrender, you stop resisting. You stop fighting against what is. And in that moment of surrender, something magical happens. You find peace, you find clarity, you find freedom. But when you strip all of that away, what remains? Who are you without the labels, the achievements, the roles you've clung to? Letting go is about more than just releasing physical or mental baggage. It's about shedding the false sense of self that has been constructed over time. It's about seeing yourself clearly, without the filters of who you think you need to be, based on societal, familial, or even personal expectations. The truth is, we often carry an identity that was never really ours to begin with. From a young age, we're told how to behave, what to strive for, what success looks like, even what love should feel like. These ideas get woven into the fabric of our identity until we don't even realize we're wearing them. They become so familiar, so comfortable, that we confuse them with our true selves. But deep down, you know there's more to you than that. And the only way to access that deeper part of yourself is by letting go of the identity that's been built on external expectations. Letting go means stepping into a space where you no longer need to prove anything, not to yourself or anyone else. It's about releasing the need for validation. And that's terrifying for most of us. We live in a world that constantly tells us we're not enough unless we achieve more, do more, become more. But ask yourself this: what if you could feel complete without having to chase anything? What if you could drop the constant striving and just be? That's the ultimate freedom. And it's only possible when you're willing to let go of the identity that says you need to be more than who you already are. There's an incredible power in realizing that who you are is not defined by your past, your job, your relationships, or your failures. It's not even defined by your successes. Those are just roles you've played for a time. They're like costumes you've worn on the stage of life. And while those roles and experiences have shaped parts of you, they are not the core of who you are. Letting go means stepping off the stage and recognizing that you are the actor, not the costume. The mind often resists this because it wants certainty. It wants structure. But life isn't about clinging to structures. It's dynamic, fluid, constantly evolving, and so are you. When you let go of the rigid identity you've constructed, you start to see life differently. You no longer operate from a place of fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of not being enough. Instead, you begin to operate from a place of curiosity and openness. You become more present, more grounded, more in tune with the flow of life. And that's when your vibration starts to shift in a significant way. Think about it. When you're clinging to an identity, there's tension. You're constantly trying to uphold an image, constantly trying to meet expectations, constantly afraid of what might happen if you slip up or let it all go. That tension lowers your vibration. It creates stress, anxiety, and disconnection. But when you release that identity, when you stop trying to control how you're perceived, there's a sense of relief. You relax into who you are, not who you think you need to be. This relaxation creates space for your energy to expand. Your vibration rises because you're no longer holding yourself back. Here's the thing, letting go of your identity doesn't mean you lose yourself. In fact, it's the opposite. You finally find yourself. The real you, the part of you that's been there all along, but has been buried under layers of conditioning and societal pressure. And when you reconnect with that part of yourself, everything in your life starts to shift. Your relationships become more authentic because you're no longer trying to fit into a mold or play a role. Your work becomes more fulfilling because you're no longer chasing external success, but instead aligning with what truly lights you up. And your mind becomes clearer because you're no longer wasting energy on trying to be something you're not. Letting go also means releasing the stories you've told yourself about what's possible. We all have these stories, these internal narratives about what we can and can't do, what we deserve, and what we're capable of. These stories are often rooted in fear and past experiences. But just because something happened in the past doesn't mean it has to define your future. When you let go of those limiting stories, you open yourself up to a new reality, one where you're not bound by your past, but free to create something entirely new. So what are the stories you've been telling yourself? What are the beliefs that are keeping you stuck? Maybe it's the belief that you're not smart enough, not talented enough, not worthy enough. These beliefs are like chains that hold you down, keeping you from reaching your full potential. But here's the thing, those chains only exist in your mind. They're not real. And the moment you decide to let go of them, they disappear. You're free. The mind is incredibly powerful, but it can also be incredibly deceptive. It will try to convince you that you need to hold on to these beliefs, that they keep you safe. But safety is not the same as freedom. Safety keeps you small, keeps you in your comfort zone. Freedom allows you to expand, to explore, to grow. And that's what letting go offers, true freedom. The freedom to be who you really are without the limitations of your past, your fears, or your self-imposed rules. When you let go, you begin to see that life is not something to be controlled, but something to be experienced. You stop trying to force things to go a certain way, and instead allow things to unfold naturally. And this doesn't mean you stop taking action or stop caring about your goals. It means you take action from a place of alignment rather than fear. You move forward, not because you're trying to prove something or achieve something, but because it feels right in your soul. This is the key to raising your vibration. When you let go of the need to control, when you release the fear of failure or judgment, you step into a higher state of consciousness. You start to operate from a place of love rather than fear. And love is the highest vibration there is. It's the energy of creation, of expansion, of infinite possibility. When you align with that energy, everything in your life begins to shift. You attract new opportunities, new relationships, and new experiences that are in alignment with your highest self. But here's the beautiful thing. You don't have to figure it all out. You don't have to have all the answers. Letting go is not about solving all your problems or having a perfect plan. It's about trusting that life has a way of working things out when you stop trying to control every detail. It's about trusting yourself, trusting that you are capable, worthy, and deserving of everything you desire. Now take a moment to think about what it would feel like to let go of the need to control. What would it feel like to trust that everything is unfolding exactly as it should, even if you don't have all the answers right now? What would it feel like to release the fear, the doubt, the need to prove yourself? This is the key to living a life that is free, expansive, and filled with joy. And it all starts with letting go. How letting go creates space for miracles. When you let go, you create space for miracles, for synchronicities, for unexpected blessings. You stop trying to force life to fit into a narrow box and instead allow it to unfold in ways that are beyond your imagination. When you release control, life doesn't fall apart like you might fear. In reality, it expands in ways you never anticipated. The truth is, most of us are so busy trying to micromanage every detail of our lives that we leave no room for the unexpected. We cling so tightly to our plans, our routines, our expectations, that we miss out on the magic of spontaneity, the grace of serendipity. But when you let go, you create space for life to surprise you. And it's in that space where the real miracles happen. Think about it. When you loosen your grip on how things should be, you open the door for things to be even better than you imagined. You create room for the universe to step in and guide you in ways that your logical mind couldn't have predicted. It's like planting a seed and then stepping back to allow it to grow. You don't stand over the seed every second, worrying if it's going to sprout. You trust the process, knowing that the seed has everything it needs to grow into a beautiful plant. You just have to give it time and space. This is what happens when you let go. You stop forcing things. You stop trying to control every little outcome. And instead, you allow the natural flow of life to take over. And in that flow, you'll find that things often work out even better than you planned. But you have to be willing to release the need to know how exactly it's all going to unfold. That's where the power is, in the not knowing, in the surrender to the mystery of life. Now, letting go doesn't mean sitting back and doing nothing. It's not about passivity or waiting for things to magically fall into place. It's about taking inspired action and then releasing the outcome. It's about trusting that once you've done your part, life will meet you halfway. We often think we need to do it all, control it all, but that's not how life works. You're co-creating with the universe. And when you let go of the need to control the entire process, you allow the universe to do its part. But here's the thing, letting go requires trust. Trust that life is always working in your favor, even when things don't go according to your plan. In fact, sometimes the greatest blessings come disguised as challenges or detours. When you let go of rigid expectations, you can start to see the bigger picture. You begin to understand that every twist and turn is part of a greater plan, one that you might not fully understand at the moment, but that is always guiding you toward your highest good. There's incredible freedom in this. Imagine no longer needing to stress about every detail, no longer feeling the pressure to make everything perfect. Imagine the relief in knowing that you don't have to have it all figured out, that you can let go and trust that life will unfold exactly as it's meant to. This doesn't mean you won't face challenges or setbacks. Of course you will. That's part of the human experience. But when you let go, you stop seeing those challenges as roadblocks and start seeing them as opportunities for growth. You stop resisting what isn't and start flowing with what is. Letting go also means releasing the need for things to happen on your timeline. We're often in such a rush to make things happen, to achieve our goals, to get to the next level. But life doesn't operate on our schedule. There's a natural timing to everything. And when you let go, you start to sync up with that timing. You stop pushing and forcing, and instead you start moving in harmony with the rhythm of life. And in that state of harmony, you'll find that things start to happen with ease. Opportunities come to you effortlessly. Solutions appear without you having to struggle for them. This is the magic of letting go. But letting go isn't just about external outcomes. It's about releasing the internal resistance that keeps you from experiencing peace and joy right now. So often, we think we need to achieve something or become someone in order to be happy. We set all these conditions on our happiness. I'll be happy when I get that promotion, or I'll feel good once I've lost the weight, or I'll be at peace when I've paid off my debt. But here's the thing, those external conditions are not the source of happiness. They never were. The only thing standing between you and happiness is your own resistance to the present moment. When you let go of the need for things to be different than they are right now, you free yourself from that resistance. You allow yourself to experience peace, joy, and contentment. Not because everything in your life is perfect, but because you're no longer fighting against what is. This doesn't mean you stop striving for improvement or growth, but it means you stop tying your happiness to those future outcomes. You realize that happiness is available to you right now, in this moment, regardless of your circumstances. And that's the ultimate shift in vibration. When you let go of the need to control, when you release the inner resistance, your energy naturally rises. You move from a state of fear, anxiety, and stress to a state of love, peace, and joy. And in that higher vibration, you become a magnet for more of the same. You start attracting experiences, people, and opportunities that match your elevated energy. It's like tuning into a higher frequency on a radio. Suddenly, you're picking up new signals, new possibilities that you couldn't access before because you were stuck in a lower vibration. But this doesn't happen overnight. Letting go is a practice. It's something you do moment by moment, day by day. It's about noticing when you're gripping too tightly, when you're resisting the flow of life, and then consciously choosing to release that grip. It's about becoming aware of the thoughts, beliefs, and patterns that are keeping you stuck, and then making a decision to let them go. It's not always easy. The mind loves control. It loves certainty. It loves to think it knows what's best. But the mind is limited. It can't see the bigger picture. It doesn't have access to the infinite possibilities that exist beyond its narrow perspective. That's why letting go feels so uncomfortable at first. It feels like stepping into the unknown, like giving up control. But in reality, letting go is the most empowering thing you can do, because it connects you to something greater than the mind. It connects you to the flow of life, to the intelligence of the universe, to the part of you that knows exactly what you need, even if your mind doesn't. So what happens when you let go? You experience freedom. You experience clarity. Your mind becomes lighter because it's no longer cluttered with worries, fears, and doubts. Your energy becomes brighter because you're no longer weighed down by the need to control every detail of your life. And in that state of freedom and clarity, you find that you're able to create with more ease, to manifest with more power, to live with more joy. Letting go doesn't mean giving up on your dreams or goals. It means releasing the attachment to how those dreams and goals come to fruition. It means trusting that life may have an even better plan for you than the one you've envisioned. It means allowing yourself to be guided by your intuition, by your inner knowing, rather than by fear or control. And when you do this, you open yourself up to a world of possibilities that you couldn't have imagined from your limited, controlling mindset. So what's the next step? It's simple. Start letting go. Start small. Let go of a minor worry or a small task you've been stressing over. Notice how it feels, then gradually work your way up to the bigger things, the deeper fears, the limiting beliefs, the attachments that have been holding you back for years. And as you do this, you'll find that life becomes lighter, easier, more joyful. You'll find that your mind becomes clearer and your vibration naturally rises. And in that elevated state, you'll begin to attract everything you've been seeking, not through force or control, but through alignment and flow. Remember, the power isn't in holding on, the power is in letting go.